Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up.
To guide us through the process tonight. To arrive is Mr. Esho. He's also a lawyer by profession. My left is Mr. Tunde, the director of the Pavilion school. Louder. Yes. I'm Banji Ogunwemi. I'm a retired oil and gas executive. Banji Ogunwemi. I'm a resident. I'm a retired oil and gas executive. Thank you. The process, as you all know, from the email and text messages sent around, is just for us to know the candidates and to know exactly what each of them has in stock for the association. Each of them will present himself, the program he has for us. The panel will ask questions, and there will be opportunities for members to ask them questions on specific issues. The areas we expect them to cover are broadly six of them, and I think the chairman will elaborate on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
From Olawale Kolomiti Region 2. The emails that I got, one of them, the convener of the concerned Lekki resident, was one Mr. Kenny Awe. I don't know who he is. It would be good for us. Apparently, that same group, probably also the concerned, appointed the panel, so that we can all go along. There's a Mr. Kenny Awe, and I saw a number of email exchanges, before now. So if you can introduce them and the members of the, the concerned Lekki residents, so that we know them.
And it was concerned for two things. It was concerned about two things, basically. One, the fact that residents will not know what the manifesto or what the would-be executive or incoming executive or proposed executive will have for the residents. So he wrote a letter and stated that it would be good for us to have a debate. Not really a debate, but also for us to have a conversation, more like a conversation this evening, whereby we can hear from the interested group, and then we can also ask questions in respect of issues that we think we need clarity in respect of that. So I would like to say here that Mr. Awe took the initiative, sent in the letter. And for me, I'm representing my zone. My zone is Grace Angels. And essentially it was the fact that, how did I get into this seat? They contacted the chairman of our street, and he said, will I be interested, since he's out of town, to represent him in respect of this? And I said, well, it was a good initiative. And it's also a good initiative for us to know the people that we want to vote for. So we just don't cast our vote for unknown. So essentially, that is the foundation of how this panel and all this debate or this conversation is taking place. Does that clarify the issue for you, sir?
Yeah, I did follow a question on that.
Yes, sir.
You see, but the circumstances, I am going by the chain of emails,
yes, sir,
that I have received on this issue.
Can I ask a quick question, sir, before you react? Do you have a challenge with the trail of the email?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so let's have that. Let's so that we can quickly deal with that.
The challenge that I have for the chain, the chain of the email is that I was here at the last meeting when we were to have election, and a young man here now said, that day, that the election was postponed and the whole thing, the way it went, and say it's a shame on all of you. That's all of us. You can't even go to the election. Your drivers are out there laughing at you. That was the statement. I have seen chains of email. One coming from Mr. Awe, and the response that somebody, one Mr. Eze also, the one from the chairman himself of the association, the outgoing chairman, and even the vice chairman also, Mr. Moore, his response, the email even also going between what the vice chairman alleged, against one of the candidates and all those things. So really, that when we want to appoint, listen, I have worked in I was a past president of IOD. During elections, we organize debates like this for us to find out. But the type of what has gone through this, that's why I want to know how the panel was really selected. Even all of us were here. You have just said that your chairman called for your zone. Nobody even contacted me. I chaired a zone also. So for us to know, so that we know whatever we are doing here is plain and clean. And fair. That's the point I'm making. So that's my challenge. Because I cannot see that there is no bias in what we are doing now without, with the change of email that has transpired. So let's clear that. And even the Mr. Awe that I saw in this thing that responded to what Mr. Eze, I don't know whether he's here. So it's not even here. Okay, yes, he responded to you. I will talk, yes. Okay, so that's the challenge I have.
I want to say this with all sense of humility. I'm sure everybody here has is a stakeholder in this place. And except you have a challenge with the composition of the panel, raise it now. If you don't have an issue with or a challenge with the composition of the panel, I think we should ride on. Let me tell you what we want to do here. Basically, 2 candidates or 2 sets of people. Maybe this will be the first change that we will see here, because we have a lot of issues. How many of us agree that we have a lot of issues around us? Now, if we agree that we have a lot of issues around us or surrounding us in respect of this this association, I think it's time for us to deal with it. If there's an issue in respect of the email trail that has gone in respect of this, I think we should have raised this before this time. Now, the majority of the people here, I'm sure we want this debate to go on, yes or no? Yes. Thank you. So if the answer is yes, I think we should proceed beyond this process. And if you have anything to raise, you can raise it within, any question you have, you can raise it as we go along. Except there's a challenge for the people that are here today, and they don't want this process to go on. As long as we want this process to go on, please and please and please, can we just move on, please? Thank you.
I agree with you. Can I say something?
Thank you very much. Sorry, sir, because we will not leave this initial...
He had just told us how he got there. How did 3 of you get there?
It's the same process.
Without... Can we have one meeting, please? One meeting. Not yet. Please let me. Can we have one meeting, gentlemen? One meeting. We can get to that later. I think we all agree that everybody here, including the candidates, including members of this panel, including all of us, we've sacrificed time to be here this evening, and I don't think we want to be weighed down by technicalities. How we got here, the point, we'll get, sorry, I didn't get your name, sir. Can we get to that later? Because you will have a chance to speak. Yes, we'll get, it will come under any other business. Anybody who has any challenge. We're here voluntarily. In fact, I just couldn't turn down the invitation. I'd rather be in bed now or at home. And I'm sure we all have things to do. So let's just get started. And you will all have a chance to talk. And hopefully we'll be out of here, we're hoping by 9:30. So we'll make it really fast. So this is how we intend to proceed. Introductions have been done. The panelists are here. And we have, with respect, summarized the issues we think are important to everybody here. Of course, when you're asking your questions, you can feel free to ask questions outside those issues. But I'll just read them out very briefly, not necessarily in any order of priority. The first one is the environment. Under that, we have the issues of beggars, squatters, truck pushers, the drains, the floodings, and all whatnot. And then we have security, which I'm sure we all agree is a major issue here, especially as Lekki has grown even over the past year, and we have more and more people moving in, especially businesses, hotels, and all whatnot. And all those tend to erode or threaten our security. Then we have the issue of utilities. Under that is electric power supply, which of course is crucial to all of us, and of course water supply. Personally, I haven't had water in I don't know how many years. Initially I had water when I moved in 14 years ago from the waterworks, the state waterworks, no water. Then we have the issue of transportation. Under that falls, for instance, I'm sure we've all experienced at one time or the other the congested go slow or traffic at the roundabout, the Ikoyi-Lekki Bridge roundabout. So we need to find a solution to that. It can be quite frustrating. You are almost home, you are stuck at that roundabout, or you are leaving home, in my case, probably heading to court, and then you're stuck at that roundabout for like 45 minutes. It's a bit of a problem. We also have as a interface with governments, and the most important on that list is the takeover of our gates by the local government, thereby eroding our ability to raise funds or have funds for any of our activities. And then of course we have finance. We're going to ask the candidates how they intend to finance their campaign manifestos, because we all know that promises are sweet, however keeping them is another issue. So we're going to we're going to keep their feet to the fire and see what they have in store for us. So like I said, we will begin by asking some questions here. Well, we'll begin by letting each side let us know what they want to do, and I think you can have about 15 minutes each. We're going to be very strict with time. We have our timekeeper there. So once you are about to exceed your 15 minutes, you're going to be stopped. So you need to be brief. Tell us briefly what you'll do. Details can come later when you're asked questions. We will ask questions at this end, and then members can also ask questions, and hopefully we will go home satisfied knowing that we have one candidate or the other that we want to support in the forthcoming elections. Thank you. Mr. Otitoju. Okay. To begin. So 15 minutes, sir, and our timekeeper is going to be very strict.
I was born in 1955, May 1955, so I'm 63 years of age. I graduated from the University of Ibadan in 1980. I read geography. During the time I was in school, I was the PRO of the Student Union. That's 1970-79. And ever since, I've been working to promote the image of the university. Immediately I finished, I joined NIST, Nigerian Institute of Social and Economic Research. That's from my NYSC, 1980-1981. And immediately I left, I joined the services of Nigerian Post Authority. That was in 1981, and I worked there for 10 years, 1981 to 1991. When I left service, after 10 years, I started auto business, Jukot Motors, Apapa. Within 10 years, it closed. So I was able to send my children to best schools in Nigeria and in the US. Part of them, they graduated from top schools schools in the US, like Caltech, like Virginia Tech, Howard, what have you. I'm a successful man. I moved into this estate in 1999. I started building my house in 1995. I worked, finished. Within 4 years, I moved in 1999. So since 1999, I've been working to promote this environment. And I've worked at various capacities, joining so many committees to make this place okay. I work under Chief Shoeton, who reigned for almost 10 years. Then I work under Chief Odunewu, and in fact, I was the returning officer for Odunewu first and second term. I counted the votes on Nigeria. In 2009, I attempted to be the chairman. I and Chief M.I. wanted to lead this place because by that time we had already lived here for over 8 to 10 years. And we thought we were experienced enough to do this place. But, we couldn't make it. Instead, we got Chief Akala, who became chairman. So, because of the way the election went, we didn't cooperate with him initially. But by the time he was about to finish, we worked with him to the extent that we became friends. So, we became friends. Yeah. To the extent that when we found that there was a space that constituted a nuisance to the entrance, I approached him that my company will manage it for the estate, and once we make money there from advert, we will use it to offset, the environmental nuisance. Yes, I think that's that. Let me go straight to the point. On environment, the main problem of Lekki could be categorized under environment and security. Under environment, we have beggars, card pushers, street trading, and what have you. And for anybody who is coming to Lekki, this is the first impression they have, because that's how they now compare Lekki with Ajeguna. In fact, Ajeguna is now even better, because the government tend to concentrate effort there and they have street light and what have you. So, when you buy a plot of land in Lekki for say 100 million, that's 1,000 square meters. You want to have a sort of exclusive, enjoyment that will differentiate you from someone who bought a plot for 300,000 somewhere down Ajah. But everybody sees Lekki as where they can make money. The Okada people will come here because there is a demand for them. Beggars will come here because there is demand. To the extent that you think there is no one in charge. Once there is no one in charge, then it becomes free for all. So this is one of the reasons why I say yes, you must take the bull by the horn. And what I have done, either in my zone, where if you get to my zone there is sanity, you can't see beggar, you can't see Okada, you can't see street trading, I can extrapolate it to, the whole Lekki scheme. And once that is handled, now it becomes transportation for the main arteries, like Admiralty Way, Admiralty Road, Duro Simieti, and what have you. Now, when I was chairman of transport in 2014 to 2016, about 19 months, we made sure that we registered the buses, we took special interest in control and regulation, to the extent that people who operated made money. Not only that, the association was able to generate revenue. Some of these points I won't give special bank, because as I'm talking on transportation now, I'm already talking on revenue generation. So the committee of three there, that is myself, Engineer Mora, and Barrister Ebadu, were the people constituted the committee. And within 19 months, we generated 103 million from transportation to the association. This was not money that passed through our pockets. You pay your money to the bank, you send the teller to the association, the treasurer at the end of the month collect what came from jetty, what came from car hire, what came from shuttle buses, and what have you. So within 19 months, we were able to raise 105 million for the estate. So, and by so doing, you know, the association was able to start this structure and the shoreline, you know, protection and what have you. And anybody who looks here will know that to get this, it's almost 2,000 square meters space. Must have cost a lot of money. So we had money. But immediately we left, we found that actually the procession was no more a real money generating for no reason. Okay, probably I was able to handle that very well because I'm a fellow Charter Institute of Logistics and Transport, and we are less than 30 in the whole of Nigeria that ever got to that field. So I brought my professionalism to here and I handled them. On transportation, we intend to work more on minibuses. Minibuses that we will work on in the short run will be 7 passenger capacity buses. Why? It will be easy to maneuver and
sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Yes.
What we're expecting, sir, is that you will let us know going forward how you intend to address these issues. We appreciate your background. I'm sure each candidate has a rich background of experience. Otherwise, you would not be putting yourselves forward. However, because of the time constraints, and I'm sure we can all go and research any other information we need about you, sir. So it's not to be disrespectful, but to try and get you, sir, to focus on how going forward you can take us back to these glory days that you just recounted. What exactly are you going to do?
Okay, what I want to do is already in my manifesto. And
some of us haven't seen your manifesto and we want to hear directly from you. After all, we've had candidates in the past in high office in this country who disowned their party's manifesto. So we want to hear directly from you, sir, what you intend to do for us. Why should we vote for you? Not what you've done in the past, which we appreciate. Thank you, sir.
No, I mean, you can't move forward unless you have a good sense of history. The manifesto is, I will read it out so that I don't miss any point. No, I want to use solar. Yeah. The rescue, my team is known as rescue team because we want to rescue Lekki from the position it is now. The rescue team has designed the tactical, operational and strategic plans to solve Lekki immediate, medium and 2-year long-term problems. Tactical, within our first 100 days in office, we shall get rid of street beggars, hawkers, cat pushers, petty traders, and all other environmental nuisance on the street and roads of Lekki Peninsula. On transportation, we want to regain the management of Lekki gates transport operation management and control, so as to provide decent, neat, safe, and regular shuttle minibuses with reliable routine and scheduling. Enforced with immediate effect, Lagos State Ministry of Transportation law on Okada and tricycles operation and restrictions in urban settlements like Lekki. We are going to enforce the law. On environment, we want to devote immediate attention to other environmental issues like constant clearing and cleaning of medians and setbacks on the main and arterial roads, prohibition of illegal dumping of refuse, solid waste on roads, zonal streets, and general neighborhoods. Unblocking and maintenance of drainage network as the rainy season is about to set in. Ensure prompt and effective clearance of waste by the waste disposal companies, etc. On security, we shall immediately improve working relationship with the Maroko police station, the Zone 2 Onika DIG's office, and the Lagos State Police Commissioner's office, respectively.
2 minutes.
Okay. Remaining 2 minutes. Yeah. So as to improve attention through constant patrols, frequent surveillance, arrest and prosecution of criminals and lawbreakers, we shall increase the number and enhance competence of our own internal sheriff through relevant induction and training that will make them responsive and responsible to our tactical and operational deployment. There will be responsibility assignment to our workforce and reward for efficiency. Traffic control and management. We shall liaise with Lagos to remove the Admiralty Way roundabout and complement and replace it with the well-programmed traffic light system. System. We shall liaise with Lagos State to accelerate the construction of the proposed coastal road running parallel to the Lagos coastline from Amadu Bello Way through Goshen Estate to Epeso so as to divert significant through traffic from Lekki Epe Expressway. We shall work closely with Lagos State government to implement the designed Lagoon Highway. There is a designed Lagoon Highway bridge linking Lekki Freedom Way to Third Mainland Bridge to further divert through traffic
Thank you very much, Mr. Otitoju. The members of the panel and the General House will have opportunity to ask questions on areas not covered. That will be a second. But that will be after the second person has made his presentation. Thank you. Mr. Odunewu.
The name I'm representing the Lekki Graduate Achievers team. The secretary for my team is Barrister Fumi Adeogun, and the vice chairman candidate, unfortunately, is not around. She had a prior engagement for tonight, but she will try and join us if she can. I am an engineer by profession. I'm not a politician. I've never been a politician, and I'm not an aspiring politician. I don't intend to go into politics. I'm contesting the chairmanship of LERA to serve For me, it's a call to service. And I'm from Lagos State. I have no baggage. A lot of people, during the campaign, a lot of people have asked me why I'm contesting, why I want to be chairman of, why I'm contesting for chairmanship of LERA. And I tell them, I have lived in Lekki for over 10 years. And I've seen Lekki deteriorate over the years. I was chairman of my own local association, Lagoon Residents Association within Lekki here. And within the 4 to 5 years that I was chairman, we were able to achieve a lot. And I feel that we achieved that much with the limited resources at our disposal. I feel LERA should be able to do a lot more for the larger association. Now, some people say Engineer Odunewu is the cabal's candidate. I honestly don't know who the cabal, members of the cabal are, but I can say that over the years, Lagoon Residents Association, we have had cause to take on the administration here at the Pavilion. We've even had cause to go as far as Lagos State Commissioner of Police. So I don't know how anybody will now turn around and say Odunewu is the cabal candidate. No, I am not the cabal candidate. I honestly want to serve to improve Lekki. I'm an engineer by profession. I've worked with Julius Berger for over 15 years, and I think I can bring my wealth of experience as an engineer to serve the whole of Lekki. I think I'm in a very good position to serve Lekki as an engineer of so many years. Now, I'd like to make the point that it's not for personal gain. I have no ambition to sponsor them to gain anything from this position. We all know what the problems of Lekki are. I mean, there are so many. Ms. Aboyade has highlighted a lot of them. Security being the first one. Security. Security is paramount. It's most important to everybody. Now, most times when people talk about security, they tend to forget that Lekki has a coastline. And the coastline is very porous. We've had a few incidents where people have come through the lagoon to attack, and the last one was very deadly. As chairman, let me just point out, first of all, in Lekki here, I believe we have our biggest resource are the people. We have all sorts of people, and if we can come together and work together as one, Lekki would be a model town or estate or whatever you choose to call it. Now, I have already we have a retired DIG in our midst. I've already spoken to him with the aim of getting the Marine Police to patrol our coastline. And he's not here tonight, but DIG is a Muslim, and this is Ramadan. But DIG Kazim has assured me that he would give me all the assistance necessary to make that possible. In terms of security, we already have a blueprint. LERA has a blueprint that was worked on by the security committee headed by Mr. Ifeanyi Chukwuzo. The blueprint is there, lying there. I remember the zones were told to make contributions. My zone, Lagoon Residents Association, was the only zone that, as far as I know, that made contribution contribution to that, to the implementation of the security blueprint. Part of the blueprint entails, well, what LERA in fairness has already done is installing more gates around Lekki, and then installing CCTV. Again, funding is an issue, but which was why they told the zones to send in money. The zones did not send in the money, so it has not been implemented. But as chairman, I will make sure that the blueprint that the security committee has submitted is dusted off, and we implement it to the letter. We will implement it. Funding, we'll come back to funding. Yes, funding was, sure funding was, we'll discuss funding, but we will fund it and we will implement it. I did say that, well, I don't know if I did say that I'm from Lagos State. My name is Odunewu. Odunewu is the Odunewu family is a well-known family in Lagos State. Alade Odunewu is was a very well-known, Alade, thank you, was a very well-known journalist. And I think I have a very good relationship with Lagos State, with Alausa. I can go in there. But my first priority would be to get back control of the gate, which was taken over by the local government. I will engage the Lagos State government to get back control of the gate. Not necessarily for the money that is being generated there. The money that is being generated there, fine, is helpful, but it's by the side. Not for security. You cannot talk of security when you're not in control of your gates. And that would be the approach to the Lagos State government. It's for the security, not for the money. Forget about the money. We will engage Lagos State government to get back control of the gate. That is security. Environment, the issue of street traders, beggars, and truck pushers, and flooding. Now let me start with flooding, because flooding, again, over the years, I was chairman of Lekki Residents Association. Last month, the month of April, my association took on the clearing of Lekki Canal, the major canal that carries water to the lagoon. My association, Lekki Residents Association, that was the swamp movie that we hired for the project. Lekki Residents Association on its own took on that project. We initiated it, we took on the project. At the time we started the project, because we didn't have the money to complete the whole project, it was the contractor was asking for I think 2.8 million, but we had about we raised 1 something million between ourselves. But we started the project. We reached out to the other associations around us, Zone 7, Zone 8, and Obadi in Kayode. We reached out to them because we are all in this thing together. We all suffer the flooding during the rainy season. When we reached out to them, they were not too forthcoming. But eventually, when they saw the operation in action, when they saw what we were doing, and they saw that we really meant business and we were actually out to execute the project, the money started flowing in. And to God be the glory, we executed the clearing of the canal successfully by Lekki Residents Association. This is the canal that serves the whole of Lekki, not just a small area, it's the whole of Lekki. After the canal project, we now realized again that it was just not enough to clear the canal. You need to get the water, the flood and the rainfall to the canal. And we didn't have enough secondary drainages to carry the water, the rainfall water through the canal. So we engaged again in the construction of secondary drainages on our own, Lekki Residents Association. The project is still ongoing right now. That's part of the construction work going on. Yeah, you can see there. Now, on Residents Association, on our own, we have taken the initiative. We wrote to, we went to Ministry of Environment. We actually paid for them to come and clear. This is this other Rosemary. And you can see Kai and the Ministry of Environment people clearing the traders, all the traders around this is on our own, the small Lekki Residents Association. We've been able to do all these things for the larger society. It's not just for our own area, but this is Mr. Rosemary. It's for the whole of Lekki. And I believe if, as a small zonal chairman and executive, we can achieve so much. With God willing, I'm sure we will achieve a lot more for the larger Lekki society. Now, on the issue of utility, honestly surprised that Ms. Aboyade says she's not had water for a long time. To be honest, water corporation has improved a lot. I have about 4 boreholes in my house, but now I use government water non-stop because they have improved. I will take you on one-on-one on that. But utilities, under utilities, one program or project that is very dear to my heart, which I must talk about, is power. I believe power 24/7 is achievable in Lekki. It's been done before. That was PHCN. I'm not even thinking of PHCN this time around. We will engage a gold disco for it. But IPP, I believe, is the way to go. Independent power project is the way to go. It can be done. Yes, it will cost a little bit more, but I'm sure everybody will pay a little bit more for power than having to run generators, buy diesel, service generator. You go to some houses, they have 2-3 generators that they are for. Some people have 4 that they are servicing at the same time. But with IPP, we would have modular units. For Lekki, I believe the consumption is about 40 megawatts. We can have modular units, about 4 or 5 modular units that would supply us all the power we need in Lekki, and we would have 24/7 electricity supply. Then the final issue is the issue of the toll gates. The toll gates, I've said, I'm from Lagos State. I will engage Lagos State government robustly to see what can be done to reduce or to give us relief in Lekki. I mean, not that we will not pay, we will pay, but to give us. Thank you very much.
Contestants, Mr. Otitoju and Mr. Odunewu, thank you very much. Now we're going to fire questions beginning from this side of the hall, and we'll throw it open. We have to be very brisk with our questions. We don't want long commentaries. Direct questions, and would like direct answers from the candidates. I think I'll just begin and ask the 2 candidates different questions. And I think they have 2 minutes each to respond, and so will the other members of the panel. It's going to be random. My own passion or priority is clearing Lekki of the beggars that have really invaded our space. So, Mr. Otitoju, you said within 100 days you will clear those beggars. In fact, you had quite a list of things you would do. We know what the problem is. How do you intend to clear them out within 100 days without letting sentiment get into this?
Thank you very much.
2 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, can I just ask the other question now, so that he will also answer as soon as we've done?
Is my time counting?
Sorry? No, time is not.
Ask him a question in advance. Let me finish. You ask him.
Fine. No expo.
Let me finish.
Yes.
No expo, you've made a point, so let's carry on. 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. Because I'm so concerned about the environment, and I find that the issue of beggars is a real environmental nuisance. So I researched into their coming and the points where they stay. And I found that those beggars that you see, they are just operators. They have handlers. So if you want to clear the beggars, you must know their handlers. So immediately I come in, I will engage the handlers, I will dialogue with them, and I will give them 2 weeks to do what I want. That is, I don't want beggars in Lekki Peninsula. If they give condition, my executive will look into it. But by the time we spend 30 days, we won't see a beggar on any major street or inner roads in Lekki Peninsula. Thank you.
Mr. Otitoju, my question to Mr. Odunewu is, you have a lot of programs, you've spoken about the ones you've done. How do you intend to fund or implement these programs? Because you spoke about implementation of already set out policies. How are you going to fund it?
Yes, thank you very much. I did say too that the clearing of the canal that we did, when we started, we didn't have the funds to complete it, but we went ahead anyway. Now, for funding, I believe that if we get into office the very first day, we hit the ground running, and we perform, and we will perform. People will say that yes, there's a difference. There's a team that is ready to perform. When we reach out to them, they will be forthcoming. Now, for finance, we're going to introduce new ideas. We have to start thinking outside the box. Forget about the gates. People are talking about taking back the gate for money. No, we have to start thinking outside the box. There's something called crowdfunding, which is what is being done all over the world. You can Google it up, crowdfunding and crowdfunding. We'll ask for donations. Small donations from large. We have Lekki is large. If you can get just 5,000 per year per household, and they would see that what I am promising and what I'm running on is honesty and integrity. I have served in Lagoon, and they know that yes, that was my policy there.
I don't wish to put you on the spot, but in an environment where we hardly pay up our levies in the smaller zones, how do you intend to get 5,000 off a household?
Per year, 5,000, and they would see that yes, we are being transparent. Transparency is the key. Transparency. I'm talking of crowdfunding. They would pay the money into the account directly.
Thank you.
Question goes, or a comment and a question here. Okada. You said a lot about transportation. You said a lot about being a fellow of the Logistics and Transportation Association in Nigeria. My role here is the growing number of Okada in Lekki Phase-1. And how do you sort of get these Okadas out? And I'll tell you why. Increasingly, as we go ahead, there's a lot of security concerns because the Okada and the security thing is a concern for us here. And everybody, I've attended a lot of meetings either in LERA or in our zone. And everybody has always said about this Okada issue, but nobody seemed to be able to deal with it. The question I'm asking this evening is, within these 100 days, will you deal with this Okada menace? Or are you going to reform them? Or are you going to increase the transportation in terms of people getting to where they need to go from the gate? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just as I said, between 2014 and 2016, I was head of transportation. And I researched into how to get Okada out of Lekki without being antagonistic. So I designed a sort of draft gate that could be used by zones to condone off zones so that Okada is isolated on major roads. And if you look at zones in Lekki now, for instance, if you look at Admiralty Road, Admiralty Way, that corridor, no Okada gets into any of the streets because those draft gates are already implemented. Then if you go to front of Lagoon School, that's towards Marua, it's a zone, it's a zone of Zone 8. The gate, the quick gate ran and have only one entry. Okada can't go there. If you move in front of this Dominion district behind, they have already implemented it. If you go to Oyibo Ajaro, they have implemented it. So what we now have is Okada within 1.5 years of even no supervision, no control. Okada is now restricted to major roads in Lekki. And that is Admiralty Road, Admiralty Way, Proximity, Duarte, and Pola Oshibo, and what's the name of this? The road they are constructing. So the major streets, Okada can't penetrate anymore. People are using Okada as door to door, but now it's not possible. Again, what I will do is immediately I come.
Okay, from my investigation, Lekki Scheme 1 has about 170 kilometers of road network. Everywhere that we have road here is about 170 kilometers. We have residents or houses about over 1,000. Am I correct? We have about 1,000 residents all over. How many? 6,000. Thank you for correcting me, sir. Now, today is a very important and a memorable day for each and every one of us here. And I can count about maybe 100 of us in this place. So the challenge I have is, why are people not interested? That's number one. 1 minute, sir. Why are people not interested? Now, there's a lot of commercial or conversion of businesses, especially from residential to commercial. And I've seen a lot of banks, a lot of businesses coming up. The question I'm also going to ask again is that, why are they not interested in this association? Is there something that's gone wrong from your investigation or from your, at least when you're planning to take up this role? How do we get these people to be part of this association? I know that in every association or every group, there's only the 80-20 rule. The 20 people who fund the association, 80 people will just make a lot of noise. But the challenge that we have here is that, why are people not interested? That's number one. Why are the people that have businesses are not interested in the association?
Yes, interested. I have also been accused of not attending LERA meeting. A lot of people feel marginalized or disenfranchised. They have not felt the impact of LERA. Which was why I said, when we get in, we're going to, from day one, we're going to hit the ground running. And we are going to make a difference so that people will start to feel the impact, which was the point I was trying to make about funding too. When people start to feel the impact, they say that yes, I know there are some associations that are saying they're not interested in the elections, they have not contributed, paid their 10% to make their members eligible for voting because they're just not interested. We want to make a difference. when people see that yes, there's a new administration in town and these people mean business, they are ready to perform, I believe the money will come out. It was the same thing that applied when we were doing the clearing of the canal. We reached out to other associations around us. They were not forthcoming. But when we started performing and they saw that yes, these people meant business, it wasn't business as usual. They came to us. They actually came to us and brought out money, and they paid. Some people paid, more than we had actually expected. It's funding. The members will come out when they see that yes, there is effective leadership in LERA now. With the commercial members, again, we have a situation where just I think it was April or so. LERA itself was fighting with Lagoon Residents Association because they could not get dues from the commercial members in our area. But we were able to do that successfully. We will do that here at the center too.
You asked him 2 questions and give 2 minutes. One is for Mr. Odunewu. I like your idea of IPP. Have you looked into details as to the cost? Because everybody believes the IPP scheme that he presented, have you looked into details about the cost implication? Everybody believes Lekki is flowing with money. The banana seller sells at 10 naira somewhere, he sells at 20 naira here. Have you looked at the cost implication for residents?
Yes, sir. We development stage. But yes, we're talking of about 45 naira per kilowatt hour. It could be fine-tuned. It will be fine-tuned, but we're talking about 45 naira per kilowatt hour. We have experts here. I'm not an expert. I'm a civil engineer, not an electrical engineer. But I got details from some of our people here. That's why I said, Lekki here, we have it's unbelievable the amount of resources we have here, human resources. We have people that can really move this estate to make it a model estate. Yes. We're talking about something in the range of 45 naira. I have details. I have the details that have been sent out, and I can mail them out, send them out to members if members are interested. We will, maybe from tomorrow, we'll start sending out the IPP proposal to people so they can see what we're talking about and they see, and hopefully get them to buy into it, to key into it. So that by the time we get into office, we'll have passed that stage. It will be just a question of going further with it and implementation. Yes, we have figures, but it's not. We still need to dot the I's and cross the T's.
Thank you very much. The second question is from Mr. Otitoju. Much of the problem of Lekki is also related to the government. Both candidates talked about engaging the government. How do you intend to do this?
Really, I'm a politician. I've contested elections at local level, at federal level, to Senate and to government. So, whenever there is any major problem that has to do with government, they always engage me here. For instance, when the land use charge was brought up this year, it was bloated over and above what we paid last year. So I was made chairman of the land use charge to work for the generality of the people. And along the line, I became the chairman for the whole Lekki corridor, from 1004 down to Lekki. So, my committee was able to engage government and press government and push government to the wall to the extent that nobody within this corridor or in Lagos State in general as a whole is paying that bloated money now, because we are able to get government back to state of assembly where the law has to be shaped and something that is acceptable will be passed to the generality of the people. I've gotten commendation from that, from LASA I've gotten commendation from that from LERA. So that is that. Then again, as someone who has been commissioner at state level, I've had permanent secretary under me, I've had director under me. So whenever anything involves government, when I get to the office, the moment they know that I've been commissioner back in 2004, the commissioner stand up to greet or to accept me and to welcome me. And anything I get there, I got it to say. What party are you? I'm in APC. You want to see my party card?
They are on camera this time.
Okay, good evening, sir. My question is for Mr. Otitoju. You mentioned getting rid of the beggars, the cash putters, card pushers. I would like to ask you, what about the prostitutes that we see on the streets? The reason I'm mentioning this is because I've asked this question. Sorry, sir. It's not about that. You can see it clearly. Okay. I'm a director of a school, so I'm talking from that point of view as well, and also talking from a Christian, being a Christian. So many different past chairmans have said they've actually removed them, and then 1 week, 2 weeks later they're back again. So how do you intend to keep that permanent? Thank you.
Thank you. This prostitute, they have location. Apart from location, they have patronage. The locations are always the nightclubs, the hotels, and what have you. I will work with the owners of those, because you have to solve the problem right from the base. We have the catalog of all the hotels in Lekki. I will engage the owners of those public places. I will engage them and I give them timeline. Give them maybe about 3 weeks to think of what to do, and after that I start penalizing them. I don't go out at night, so I don't really see them. but I can assure you, once you engage the people who own those public places like Fan City, the place where these people hang around, they will. So within 1 month, we'll start seeing changes. So when those people make sure that there is no accommodation for them in their various places, anyone that now flouts the rule, because these people will give them the rule, anyone that flouts the rule, the police and the environment people will carry them.
One more question for Engineer Babatunde. You mentioned, sir, about crowdfunding. I'd like to know a little bit more. How do you intend to implement crowdfunding? Because I know a little bit about crowdfunding, and Nigeria, our mentality and our attitude towards people contributing money together, not knowing each other for a purpose, is not the same as abroad. So how do you intend to do that for Lekki Phase-1? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Since you know, you said you know a little bit about it, maybe we'll co-opt you into the committee to help us work on it. But I did say transparency will be the watchword. We will set up the fund, an account, LERA account in the bank. People will pay directly into the account. It will be transparent. They would see as soon as they're paying, they're getting their receipts. The account will be there, and they will not be able to access it, but it will be made to those who have paid into it. At any point in time, they can call for it, see how much is in there, and what the money is being used for. It will be project specific. It will be project specific. Like I give the example of the laying of the canal that we did. It could be said to be the same principle as crowdfunding. It was for that specific project, and we were able to achieve it. We've done it, so it's not rocket science. It's not something totally new. It's something we have done. It's achievable. We can do it for the larger society. Yes, I don't expect that everybody in Lekki will buy into it and will pay into it, but that is why it's minimal. Lekki is large. Lekki is big. Everybody just, it could be 1,000. I mean, we all go out and, I mean, you're talking of prostitutes and drinking and nightclub. People go out at night and they spend 10,000 in one night, and I mean, don't even think much about it. We're talking of 5,000 or 1,000 per year. If we gather that money from everybody, you'll be surprised how much we would have. It would fund a lot of our projects, and they would see how the money is being spent. So it's transparency. If people see that yes, you are transparent and you are honest, they will respond. And we've done it with the that was what we did with the clearing of the canal, and it is achievable. Like you said, I will note it down and we will tap into your own knowledge. We have IT people here too who it will be transparency is the key word, and again it will be project specific. This is what we want to use it for: security, CCTV, this, and they would see that yes, that is what the money is being used for.
The floor open, so questions can be taken from members present here. We want to enjoin you to keep those questions short, so that we all can have a chance to ask questions about what is bugging us or what is of importance to us. And we also want to enjoin all of us here to keep this discussion focused on the candidates and what they want to do and how they're going to achieve it. We know the problems, what are the solutions, how are they going to give us deliverables, period. We don't want anything outside that, because we had said we hope to be out of here by 9:30. Hopefully maybe 9:45, but nothing later than that. So let's keep it short and sharp. The candidates will have a minute each, because I can see so many hands being raised now, and we all want to have our fair share of asking questions. So let's start right away.
You have a case with Lagos State government, and you can agree with me that it's going to affect the association if you present yourself, if you become the chairman of this association. So what do you think will be the effect of this Lekki Association? One. Two is that you took a loan of 1 million from the association and you have not paid back. Why is it so? Thank you very much.
When they demolished my event center, the case was taken to court before the demolition. So they ran out of law. At the initial stage, Mori said there is preliminary objection, and Justice Jumoke Pedro of Lagos High Court ruled that I had local standing to sue because the land belongs to me. I have a letter of allocation and I have a development permit from a physical plan. So the lawyer went for it. He said, what you demolished when the case was already in court, you must re-erect or rebuild. So we are on that. And because all agencies were served promptly, the Lagos State and Mori, together with my lawyer, they now said they should feel from 17 and 18, your lawyers, that they will work on reparation, on compensation. So once that is done, and over 22 million that I spent before it was demolished is paid, then I will answer the case. I'm the complainant. So they are the what they call it.
I think we have just a minute to answer questions. So the second question.
The second one, I never took loan from anybody. I didn't take loan, so it must have been maybe the person who believed him wrong. You know, there are so many people who wants to insinuate maybe you can tell me what the loan is about and from who. So you don't talk, anyhow. Okay?
The gentleman directly requested. We'll come to you, sir, and there's so many hands at the back.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Albert Yora. I live on Chief Albert Yora Street, which is in Zone 3. I'm a landlord here, like every other person here, and we have tenants in my property. Tenants, they come and go. They are not stable. When landlord increases rent, they disappear. I was told that two of his, Mr. Engineer Mo, that has two of his executives that are tenants. If it is true, what is he going to do when these tenants are out of the estate due to rent increase? How is he going to cope? Thank you.
With all due respect, the last I checked, this is still Lekki Residents Association. It is not Lekki Landlords Association. When it becomes Lekki Landlords Association, we will know what to do at that point.
Can I please remind personal issues? Issues affecting us or affecting the ability of the candidate to represent us or present himself forward and to deliver.
Thank you. I'm Taiwo Ajayi. I'm a landlord and a resident. My first observation is just the
What do you say? What area? Address.
Off Wale Ario.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to first make an observation that normally when such addresses are going on, what we are organizing today, when a question is asked and a party responds to it, it is usual that the other party is also asked to respond on how you tackle that problem. That has not been followed today. People have been asking questions that they feel they want to ask each individual.
Well, you have the, sorry to interrupt, you have the chance to do so. We've carried on we've used this method because of time.
No, it will have saved more time.
If party had the chance to address us generally, we now ask questions that we felt we wanted to ask. You are at liberty to ask the candidate that has not answered the question in the way you want or you desire.
Thank you. The two candidates I have known before today, Chief Otitoju, because of his background, the number of times he has contested elections, I think he will have gotten to a level now that if he becomes the chairman of our association, he may not be teleguided, he may have ideas on what to do. So the question would not really go to him. I concede that to him. As for the incoming person, I've talked to him. I must confess to you that I've been very impressed about his plans and how he has said he intends to do things. Being an engineer is, of course, we will expect that. But we must also know that it is something to have plans. If you take Lagos State as an example, we've had 3 governors now, 1 and then 2 after with Godfathers.
You actually have 1 minute to ask a question. Yes. I think you've overrun your time. Please. So can you quickly please ask the question?
What I want to ask now is that with all these lofty plans you have drafted, are we sure that you are on your own, or you have godfathers or people who will assist you or not allow you to perform your duties? Thank you.
I made reference to the fact that you are just confirming what I said, that people say he's the cabal's candidate. I know no cabal. I took the forms and applied for chairmanship just to serve. I have seen Lekki deteriorate over the years. Things have deteriorated. It's gone from bad to worse. And I felt within our own little area there, with the limited resources at our disposal, we were able to do so much. not just for our own local area, but even for the larger society. If we could do so much for the larger society, why not come in here and replicate what we had done there at the center? I know no cabal. As a matter of fact, on the contrary, we have, Lekki Residents Association has been fighting with this so-called cabal that people are referring to.
Thank you, Mr. Odunewu. I think I have identified 4 people and they know themselves, so we'll do this. 1 minute for your question.
Chairman, you assured me before that I will clarify my name that was mentioned.
Yes.
I will use 1 minute to clarify that one, and I use 1 minute to ask
no,
a question.
1 minute.
If you go back on your words, I will not take it. You assured me that my name was mentioned, and you assured me that I will hear it.
Under any other business.
You assured me I will.
I have not gone back on my word.
You assured me I will hear it.
Please,
I will clear my name before I ask any question. There is no after. There is no after. There is no after. There is no after. There is no after.
Can I speak? You cannot shout me down.
No, I'm not shouting you down. You made a promise.
You cannot shout me down.
You made a promise.
Can you please listen?
You can't get the after because after there will be no time. You may not be able to come again.
In that case, then you may take me out.
Fast spends my chairman. If you go back on your word, I will give you your microphone. If you go back on your word, I will give you your microphone. I have to clear my name. If you don't want me to clear my name, I will give you your microphone.
You've spent 1 minute already. We don't have to
If you don't want me to clear my name that was mentioned, what you promised, I will give you your microphone.
Gentlemen,
there's no AOB.
there's no need.
I am starting with what I'm saying. If you don't want me to clear my name, I will give the microphone.
Please do so. Please do so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please. No, the lady. We have identified her. Please.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I am a Senator Loretta, and I'm from Zone A, Lekki, Zone A, Christ Avenue. I'm an environmentalist, and I'm going to ask both candidates questions on that issue. The first candidate was more explicit in telling us what he's going to do concerning the environment. I want to point out here, I just want to ask this question, that I would need more explanation from both candidates to be more explicit in addressing the entire waste management value chain, from collection to disposal, especially the indiscriminate waste dumped in public places. Thank you.
In my presentation, I didn't quite get to it before time ran out. Now I did say in the presentation, I think we circulated it, we will engage Lagos State government. Now, for some reason, Lekki is being marginalized. Other areas, Parkview Estate, across the road, the Odunewu side, Vision Scape is operating in those places. They have those big, huge beams, and they are performing in those places, but they have, for some reason, they have left out Lekki. And the same Lagos State government tells us that we are not supposed to pay for refuse collection anymore. It's been paid for. But if you don't pay for your refuse in Lekki, they just bypass your house and they don't collect the refuse. So there's something wrong somewhere. There's a disconnect somewhere. We will engage Lagos State government to look into it. Why is Lekki being marginalized?
Yes, there is effluence from individual houses. Some people just direct their pipes to the gutter and they pump, their waste from the sockeway. So I will have sheriff that will be in charge of zones on this. That's number one. Then the solid waste, vision scope has not been forthcoming. And again, we don't want cat pusher. So how do we solve the problem? Cat pusher move from house to house, but they dump the waste anyway. They dump them on gutter and whatever. So we have to engage government engagement. Luckily, I have the phone number of the commissioner, the director, environment, and not only that, the companies, the private companies that used to carry this, we have a sort of timetable and register that we can call on and make them do their job.
Thank you, sir. Who was the fourth person we identified? Yes. No, sir. We're coming to you, sir.
On Kayode Otitoju Street. My concern will be for both parties. You stay here and you want to leave Lekki through the toll. You are paying for it and you spend what in this one. Can there be any solution to this menace? It's a security issue. If anything happens at any point, one can be trapped. Is there any menace? Is there anything we can do to solve this? Secondly, is that the law provides that if there's a toll, there must be alternate routes. We are trapped in phase one. It's either you go through this place or you go through the end. What is our solution to this? Other people have alternatives. Thank you.
Everybody has gotten the electronic copy of my manifesto. I've already simulated how to solve the problem of traffic on administrative way going through the Lekki Bridge. Immediately I get it, I will write to government that the outward leg of Lekki toll point should be moved towards after the cable suspension, so that you have more volume for, because in future you say it's either you increase the rate of service or you will increase the capacity. So once the capacity is increased, that will be solved. That's on that. Then on alternative food. There is alternative
food. There were two questions asked. We'll give you a second minute.
There is an alternative route created here by government. The only limiting factor is a warehouse in between Oriental and Lekki Phase. So I will get government to negotiate with the owner of that warehouse to buy it over and compensate it, so that we can. The road has been completed 90%. 90%. Once, what remains is just about 60 meters. Once that warehouse, we have alternative road that will serve Lekki. Thank you.
Thank you.
I actually believe there's a sitting committee that was set up to look into the road that he just spoke about, alternative road for Lekki Phase-1. The committee is still working. They have not, my able secretary here is also the secretary of the committee, so we have the advantage of having the secretary of the committee in the executive. We will follow up and submit the proposal to the Lagos State government. Yes, it's just a warehouse that is holding up the completion of the project, and I think there might be need for a culvert as well. There's a drainage under the bridge somewhere there, so there might be need for, but that can be done by the Lagos State government. But the major problem is the warehouse, but I'm sure the committee will submit its report and we will take it up with Lagos State government.
Thank you.
President. This is deja vu for me. Promises. I will talk to this, I'll talk to this. How are you sure that you're going to be able to talk to all these people that sometimes are unreachable? I just got back hoping that the traffic in Lekki would have eased up some, because I was a member of the traffic committee with Sal Otitoju as the chairman. And it's just a nightmare going out of Lekki. Now I just stay in the house and I can't even go anywhere. Is there anything that you're going to be able to do to ease the traffic on the, especially going to the bridge? Because I recall that we had suggested that one lane should be left free for those who are going straight on Admiralty Way towards Freedom Way and leave the others to go to the bridge. But now everybody turns around and they are stopped at the foot of the bridge, and sometimes you can spend up to an hour. It's really a nightmare. Thank you.
Too wide, and they just make it wide so that they can advertise and be making money through advertising. Just like other roundabouts that are now growing traffic light. Eventually, that will go traffic light. And before the end of this year, this Admiralty roundabout will be reduced to traffic light. I've gotten assurance from government. And within 12 months of clearing this, I will get this reduced to traffic light. And the toll point, outward toll point, if you are moving from Lekki to Ikoyi, will be moved closer to Ikoyi so that we are within enough space for vehicle to I don't know.
Like he rightly said, the solution is what has already been done. It's not rocket science, it's already been done on the expressway. We had so many roundabouts and they've all been now being converted by Ambody, and I don't see why Lekki should be an exception. The same thing too can be done inside Lekki. And I also know that a company, one of the commercial companies in Lekki has donated traffic lights for the purpose. It just got stuck in bureaucracy in Alausa. We will follow it up and make sure that we get the necessary approval from Alausa to install them.
The next person is.
Thank you very much. My name is Chikewanze. I live on Olawale Kolonitu, Zone 2. There's been discussion on IPP for this area, whereby really there was a meeting in Abuja, and LERA was invited also to that meeting. What will you do? This is for both of them. What will you do to pursue this? Because I think Engineer Odunewu talked about IPP. There's already a meeting that was held on that. What will you do? This for the two of them. The other two questions are for Engineer Odunewu. You alleged that you were accused of not attending meeting. Is it true? And you also a number of times. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. On the issue of IPP, I know, I'm just hearing of that meeting for the first time. I'm not aware of it. But I do know that we have people in here in Lekki who are experts in that field. If I will meet with you and we meet with them and we can now follow up on that initiative. But IPP is the way to go. It's the solution, and it can be done in Lekki. It will be done in Lekki. We will take it up vigorously. I know people in this estate who are experts in that field. We will talk with them, and we will liaise with you as well, and see that it is implemented. On the issue of attendance of meetings, my attendance might not be as regular as yours, but yes, I do attend meetings. The records are there, the minutes are there, and you can check the minutes. I do attend meetings.
Thank you.
You see, IPP is expensive. About 1.5 months ago, I represented Lekki on power, House Committee hearing in here. And then I told them the problem here, that we were not getting up to 10 hours of electricity within the 24 hours that make the day. Day and night. Not only that, many houses are not metered. They get crazy bill. And so, once you can solve this problem for us, and again, you don't cut our light sharply because it spoil our equipment. Because night was there and everybody was there. I made my point, and since then, electricity has. In fact, if you don't make noise, government will not do anything. Since then, electricity has increased to 14 hours a day. Here, and if you want meter now, it doesn't take 1 month to get meter. Yeah, 14 hours.
I beg to differ. I haven't seen that in my house. Next, please.
I live on Babatunde Street from Lagoon. The question is for both parties, really. We all know that we are hemmed in here by 2 toll gates, this way and the other way. And I'd just like to ask from the contestants what they are going to do. Because I remember when they were trying to increase the toll gates, the toll fare rather. At some point, the governor suspended the action for consultations. And they ended up consulting the drivers, that's the road transport workers. Nobody consulted anybody here in Lekki, and they increased the toll. Where all over the world, where tolls are implemented, there is a concession, usually a concession, for those who live close. What are they going to do to ensure that we are giving that rebate? Thank you.
Thank you very much. In my presentation at the handout, you'll see that it's there that we will negotiate with Lagos State government on the issue of the toll, especially the Ikoyi toll bridge, because for E-tag, if you use E-tag, there's a 10% rebate. We feel they should do something for Lekki residents. This toll is in our estate. It impacts on us negatively. I mean, we've been talking about traffic, and it's all from that roundabout, from the toll gate. It is impacting negatively on us. Lagos State government will do something about it. Luckily, we are going into an election year. I'm positive that they will do something about it. If they are engaged robustly and meaningfully on the issue of the toll gate, they will do something about it.
Much of the problem we face at toll gate is due to waiting to collect change. So we have already put it to government that instead of charging 120 and you'll be looking for change of 20, make it 100 or 150. And by so doing, people that are not on E-tag will move freely and they won't be backward. Secondly, government is already looking for a way of easing this Lekki area by constructing a road from BGC to Freedom Way, and from Freedom Way there will be Lagoon Highway Bridge that will link Third Mainland Bridge. This will start 3rd quarter of this year. It's already there. I'm so close to government. I know what is going on. So I mean, there is the I'm close to them. I'm in transport sector, so they consult me. One of their
Papa, Brother Adeyina, close. Yes, for the 2 of them, they say they will engage government. How do you want to engage government? Are you fighting them or negotiating? 1. 2, crowd fund. How do you want to bring about your crowd fund? I want you again to explain better. That crowd fund, in our zone, I was chairman for 11 years. I couldn't collect from 20 people out of 200 people. So we want to know how you do it. Then, 3rd one, 24 hours light. The best chairman so far to me in this estate was Odunewu. He tried it for us to sign several times. We did not get it through. Please, if you play your magic, I want to know now how you give us 24 hours.
You negotiate on some things, then you dialogue on some things. Every situation has its own approach. The most important thing is that I've been commissioned, and I know how people get things from my office. So leave that to me. On 24 hours history, luckily, the chairman of NEC, that's National Electric, happened to be my very good friend. And that's Professor James Mama of Howard. I can discuss with him, and it's a matter of just giving instruction to the area manager to make things easy for us. Anyway, just a job with the
Sir, there were 3 questions. Papa said the both candidates should answer 3.
Crowdfunding, like I said, it's not something new. It's being done. Not everybody is going to buy into it from day one, but eventually people will come around. And I did say we used it for the clearing of the canal. The project was over almost 3 million. And at the time we started, we didn't have any money. But we taxed ourselves. Now, crowdfunding is you tell people it's minimal amount. You tell somebody, each household, 5,000, pay 5,000 into an account. It's integrity, honesty, and transparent. It's going to be transparent. Pay fine. In your zone, they have not been able to get 10, 15 people to pay. Yes, they are not all going to pay eventually. But when they see, when there are 3-4 zones involved in this, eventually. But when we started, it was just like group. We went to them. We went to zone 7. That is Professor Ajose's zone. We went to zone 8. And we went to Oba Adeyika Oyekon. We were not forthcoming. And we went ahead with the little money we had with us. We started. You saw the photograph. It's even still there. We hired the swamp cookie, and we negotiated with the contractor. This is what we want to do. He gave us a case of almost 3 million. I said, this is what we have now. Start, and we had about 1 million. Start with 1 million. And he started. But when he started, and people saw, the other zone saw what was being done, and they saw that yes, this people meant business, and they saw that what very hard to benefit from it. They came around. Professor Joseph's zone came around. They paid their own share. Zone 8 paid their share. Adeyika also came in and paid their own share. They would pay. People would, when you perform. But you see, that is not.
All right, sir. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name, sir. 1 minute to clear your name as you said, and 1 minute to ask the question if you have one. But we're going to be very strict with time because it's already 8 minutes to 10. And there are 2 more hands up, and they're going to wrap up and leave. So please, 1 minute each.
I thank you very much, my chairperson, for the opportunity. Clearing my name is for those who did not read my message, because my message was clear. Those of us who were here in 2004 saw the tension we went through to do an election. And when I saw messages coming from the convener of this meeting and the vice chairman, I felt I should caution. I should caution us all before the fire is fully set up. What do I mean? The chairman of LERA, Professor Ajose, sent a message, email, saying that this meeting today is illegal, that he was not informed, and I felt like if he was not informed, why all this tension? And I said, that was why I quoted our constitution, Article 1 Clause 3, which says about unity, the purpose of unity.
Your 1 minute is up. Do you want to
use
the other minutes to finish what you're saying?
Yes, I will ask a question now because I have said what I wanted to say. There is need for us to have unity here, irrespective of this, whatever happens. Now, my question is to Odunewu. In your presentation about IPP, you did say that by next week you will send out your proposal to people. And I was wondering, are you by any chance telling us that you have won the election? Is it a case of putting the cat before the mouse? So that is the question number 1 for you. Second question, we have not started. And we are having 2 people. This is one of the problems we have with Joseph. Otitoju, you said you are an APC man. What does that mean to us? Thank you.
So without this respect, the first question, I did say that I would send out my manifesto. It's in there. It has nothing to do whether I've won the election or not. It's yes, the proposal for now, because I'm going to extract. It's just a proposal that I will send out.
Please allow him to answer the question.
I will send out the proposal. It's just like I've been sending out my manifesto. I've been sending out to everybody. I will send out the proposal. And I mean, it's there for you to read it if you like. I mean, but I will send out the proposal. I mean, that was all I said. It doesn't matter out there. And the second question, with all due respect, you're not listening. The second question, you talked about the candidate for vice chairman. She did say, she told Mr. Odunewu and the people arranging this debate that she had a prior engagement for tonight. I myself, I had a prior engagement for tonight, which I did make clear to him. But it's because of the importance that I attach to this activity. And being the chairman, if I too were the vice chairman, I would not, the vice chairman candidate, I would not be here tonight, honestly, because I had a very, very important engagement. I did tell Mr. Odunewu, he's here, he would testify that, which I had to share to be here tonight. And she also had another engagement that she could not, she was, I mean, it's her bread and butter.
Why? What is the significance of APC? I've been an APC because that's the government in power. That's the power. That's the party in power. So I get anything done, local government, state government, with ease. And if they send an instruction, we report them at our party office. That's it. And let me now introduce the man here, who is my vice chairmanship candidate. Is a retired Deputy Controller General of Customs. That's Mr. Aliyu, Gigi Aliyu. Mr. Aliyu is Oxford alumnus. And not only that, he is in private company and is so successful. So all of us are free to do this work. We don't have to be carried away by engagement, personal engagement that won't allow us to focus on the work.
Thank you, sir. Yes. Your question.
This Mazi Emmanuel Okedeke, I live on Otuba Adeleke Additional Street. Sir Otitoju, this question is going to be for you. It's a deviation from the norm. I understood that you had run election, yes, contested for this office several times and failed. I want to know why you failed and what you plan to do differently so that you can win this time around. Thank you.
I'm passionate about this estate. So, very passionate. After the election of Odunewu in 2006 to 2008, that second term, and there was election to bring Akala in 2009. That was my first attempt. Akala was not fully residential here then, but it was favored by the power that be. And so after he won, I challenged him. He said, old people, old residents voted for me, new members voted for him. He said that, and that can be extracted from Lagos, what's the name? Island Hymns. Remember we? Okay, you will have time. And so the problem. Then the last election, I contested it against Professor Joseph, and it was supported by the power that but it became independent. That's why people like me can now come on and I aim at winning.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, it's not an issue of contesting.
Sorry, you say sorry, my name is Wole Akala. I was one time the chairman of Lekki Phase-1. 2 times chairman said. Now,
we have a minute, sir.
I'm not going too far. I just want to correct your impression. You said they brought me in when I was not living in Lekki. I started living in Lekki as far back as 2001. Now, if you don't know me, then you don't talk. I started living when Vice Emeritus, when this road was being constructed, I'm the one that normally go to join you to supervise. You might not know some things. But for you to come here and say that they made me, haven't made me, I was almost there for 5 years. That's a long time. You have not gotten a day to be there. So you don't come here and just rush happy. Please. And you went to my house when I defeated you. You confirmed. You went to my house. I've been living in my house for 11 years. I was living in a rented house. So please don't come and say something in public to me that you are not aware of.
Sorry, gentlemen, the pavilion. This is the pavilion. The question for the candidates. When will this place be habitable and ready? It's very important. This is part of our recreation in Lekki Phase-1. And we've had this place, I've come to meeting here over like 2 years. It's always been like this or empty. And I think it's a big disgrace for us here. And the question is, when will this be ready? 100 days, 200 days, 300 days, please.
Thank you. Response?
I understand reliably that the problem is from Lagos State government, and they have not gotten the approval. As a matter of fact, at a point, there was an instruction to demolish the structure, but the executive at that point went to Lagos State, Ministry of Planning, I think it was then, and they were able to get them to remove the instruction to demolish. And now they have written to planning for approval. I've been able to ascertain that. So it's a question of engaging Lagos State government to get the necessary approval. Once the approval is gotten, most of the materials and the funds are available, so it will be executed successfully.
Thank you very much. Your answer, sir.
The reason why this place has not been completed is nobody to follow all the papers. Everybody continue to be big man. Once I want to get result, I follow up, table to table. And when they see the personality, they know within 3 months, I will get all the papers in place. And after 3 months, we start the physical structure. Within 6 months, we will do all the correction that had to be done here once we get the approval and everything. And this place will be, before the culture is already paid. Past administration has done that. That's immediate past administration. So just to do this, it took me only 2 months to do my own system that was demolished, and almost completed. So it doesn't take much time.
Something very important, man.
1 minute, sir, because we essentially have finished.
1 minute. Good evening, everyone. My name is Imam Osu. You know, we are talking about all these proposals, but somebody made a point about social mobilization. That is, how do you intend to bring people out, members and residents and landlords of this community, to buy into all these programs? How do you intend to mobilize people?
Yes, I'm a born PR man. When I was in university, I was PRO. As I was social, and as commissioner, I was a commissioner for information. I know how to make people come together to have good plan and implement plan. There is what we call corporate social responsibility, which we haven't really explored very well. The road here, from here to the main gate, was done by Zenith. The gate was done by Zenith. That was over 25 million then. Cut out, and since then they have been maintaining it. Corporate social responsibility will be explored to get some of these things. CSR.
Yes, thank you, sir. I also did say in my manifesto that the first thing I will do when I get into office is to have a meeting or a committee of the chairmen of the various zones where they can come in, we can sit together, discuss the various problems of their various zones so that we can better make an impact on the various zones. I believe that once the zones start seeing that the center is responsive to their needs, is taking care of their needs, members will follow suit. They will start coming out. They will show more interest in the activities of LERA and start coming out for LERA meetings. Thank you.
Okay, with the final or parting shots from each candidate, 1 minute, something compelling to sell their candidacy to make us vote for one or the other. We'll start with Mr. Otitoju and end with Mr. Odunewu. 1 minute, say something compelling.
Yes, I have a very good team. I've told you the profile of my team. Man, material, and money make things work. So we will get money through CSR, through collection of our dues. We will improve on collection of our dues, corporate dues. We will engage consultants that will get the money for us and we will give them their own percentage. By so doing, we get money. You will get money. It won't be just voluntary. People will get money. So my team is my strength, and again, our experience is our wealth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. I did say that I have no baggage. I have no baggage. I'm from Lagos State. My team and I, unfortunately the vice chairman is not here. She has already worked extensively with the commercial tenants in the commercial properties in LERA, in Lekki Phase-1. We will engage the commercial members, Saturday breakfast meetings, and explain our programs to them, get them to buy in and key into the programs, see what they stand to benefit from the programs. And of course, this is, you can't run away from the fact that this is a Lagos State state. We have to have a very, very good relationship with the state government. I'm from Lagos State, and we will engage Lagos State government robustly.
Thank you very much. I'm sure we all agree it's been quite an enlightening evening. We thank you. We thank the candidates for coming. We thank members of the panel here, and of course, most especially, we thank each and every one of you. You've taken the time out to attend this, to participate. Yes, occasionally the tempers were high. We hope that tempers have very much cooled down. It's important that there's unity, and so kudos to everybody for making this happen and making it work. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant week ahead. Good night.
Good job.
I was telling you about
I don't go night church. How are you, sir? Well done. Hey, my brother.
Very well. It was a fair moderation. Yes.